So in the last class, we studied about two important concepts. One was the UVN reference coordinate system. So we had some UVN vector. So UVN vector using which, so this was a normal. This was for the y-axis, z-axis, and x-axis. Using this vector v and n unit vector, we were finding the vector u, and also we studied the formula also. When we have the normal vector, the view of vector, we were finding this u by the cross product of n into v. So this is what we just studied in the last class. So after this, 1 second, I'll just see. Okay, so after this, then we studied about the three-dimension effects, where we were keeping this point as constant. We were keeping this point P naught as constant, and we were moving the camera along the n direction. So that was one way, and another way was like for the object, you are trying to capture the different phases or the different sides. So this was the object under reference. For this object, I was checking how it will look when I'm checking the object from the sideways. So this is how the object will look. So when I'm focusing on a point where I'm changing the direction of n. So this is from my side face view, and this is how the object will look when I'm seeing the object from the front side. So this is one. These are one methodology. So this is like keeping the point P naught and moving along the direction n. And one more thing is here changing the direction, like changing the object, changing the viewing parameter, where you're capturing the object by focusing the object from the three different sides, or that all the different sides that are possible. Also, you can check it from the top side also. So that is also possible. But that is not the point of interest. So now we were changing the parameters. We were changing the viewing parameters. But now when we talk about this next concept, how we are going to do the transformation from world coordinate system to viewing coordinate system means we are not changing the viewing parameters. So we are keeping this viewing parameter as constant, and we are making changes to the object. Here the object will be moved, the object will be turned, the object will be rotated. So the object will here, the camera will remain constant, the camera will remain constant, but the object will be changing. So that is the methodology that is being followed. So the transformation. So now we are going to talk about the transformation from the world to viewing coordinate system. So see, you can see that in the three-dimensional viewing pipeline. So the first step after the scene has been constructed is used to transfer the object description to the viewing coordinate reference frame. For example, so if you assume this as the viewing coordinate reference frame, so we have studied these frames in the previous module. So this will be like world coordinate reference frame. So the similarly the transformation will be done for transferring a point. If, for example, we talked about pointage, so if there is a point at some location given by xw comma yw, the same point will be transformed to the viewing coordinate reference given by xv comma yv. Like this we have transformed now the same way. So here see, one thing is the scene has been already see this the scene has been constructed. So the once the scene has been constructed, you have to transfer the object description. You have to transfer the object description to the viewing coordinate reference frame. So this will be the first step. So how do you do that? Means by you can get the object description based on the coordinate positions, like that you can get it. So this conversion. So first step is, you have already, the first step will be to construct the scene. The first step will be to construct the scene. So once the scene has been constructed, you have to transfer object description. So this conversion of object description is equivalent to the transformation. So the sequence of object description or this methodology or the steps of transferring this object description is equivalent to the transformation. So we have studied three kinds of transformations, basic transformation. One is the translation, rotation, and scaling. We have studied these things. So first step is to construct the scene. Second step is to transfer object description. So this transferring of object description is equivalent to sequence of transformations. So sequence of transformations which we have learned. So what the sequence of transformation will do means, this sequence of transformation will superimpose the weaving coordinate reference frame onto the world coordinate reference frame. So you can perform this conversion can be performed by using the transformation between the coordinate system. So by using the transformation between the coordinate system, you can perform this uh, this object transfer, or this description transferring of the object description. So between the world coordinate reference frame and the weaving coordinate reference frame, you can use the transformation. You can use the transformation to provide the object description. So this is how you can perform. So what transformations we will be using means, we will be using translation and we'll be using rotation. So these are the basic transformations which we will be using. So why we'll be using translation? So translation will be done. So translation will be done to translate or to move the viewing coordinate origin, to the world coordinate origin. So basically this the object will be described by using transformations. So here we are using two transformation. One is the translation and the other one is rotation. So what translation will do means, it will translate the weaving coordinate origin to the world coordinate origin. So after that we are talking with respect to three axes: x-axis, y-axis. So this is x view axis. So this is x view axis. This is y view axis, and this is z view axis. So all these three axes are inclined to each other perpendicular. That is not the difference between their axes is 90-degree. So the first step is the translation, where you're translating from moving coordinate origin to world coordinate origin. The second step is the rotation. So what in this rotation, what you're doing means, um, by using the rotation transformation, you will align the x view axis, y view axis, and z view axis with world axis xw, yw, zw. So like this you will do. So here how the transformation is taking place means, by performing two steps. One is a translation and the second one is rotation. So what this translation will do means, this translation will translate the weaving coordinate origin to the origin of the uh, world coordinate system. And the second one is rotation. So what this rotation will do means, it will apply rotation to align this x view axis, y view axis, and z view axis with the world coordinate axis xw, yw, zw. So I'll repeat this. So we are performing only two transformations here. So the first one is the translation of the weaving coordinate origin to the origin of the world coordinate system. The second one is the rotation. We will apply the rotation to align the x view axis, y view axis, and z view axis with the world axis xw, yw, and ZW axis respectively. So for example, we have a point. So for example, we have a point. So for example, I'll just discard this. Okay. So for example, you assume that um, the viewing coordinate origin, the viewing coordinate origin is at some position. So the viewing coordinate origin is at some position P naught given by X naught, Y naught, Z naught uh, in world position. So this is in the world coordinate position. So the viewing coordinate origin is at the world position given by a point P naught, which is represented by X naught, Y naught, Z naught. See, for example, it is like this is some world coordinate system. It is at some point P naught. So in order to bring this point to the viewing coordinate origin, we were performing the inverse translation. We are performing the inverse translation. So if you can refer the previous module, so there what we were doing means if you want to move an object, so the object is at some point. So the object is at some point. So you want to move this object to the origin, See, this object is at some point given by x1, y1, z1. So I want to move this point to the origin. So what I was doing the inverse translation, like minus x1, minus not minus x1, some parameter, like minus tx, minus ty, minus tz. So we were performing the inverse translation to move a point at some position to the origin. The same concept. So here, this VC origin, the viewing coordinate origin, is at some position in the world system, which is given by x naught, y naught, z naught. So how do I translate? So the matrix, we already know the matrix for translating the viewing origin to the world origin, which is given by the inverse translation. So the suitable matrix will be, since it is a 3D, since it is a 3D viewing which we are referring. So we'll have a 4 cross 4 matrix. We'll have a 4 cross 4 matrix, which will be the identity matrix 0 0 0. So 0 1 0 0, again 0 1 0 0 1 0. So this is a 4 cross 4 identity matrix. So this is an 4 cross 4 identity matrix. So we have 4 cross 4 identity matrix. So for this 4 cross 4 identity matrix, if you are performing inverse translation, means we should consider the fourth column. We should consider the fourth column, where this fourth column will be replaced with minus x naught, minus y naught, minus z naught. So this position we are trying to move it to the origin. So the final translation matrix will be 1 0 0 minus x naught, 0 1 0 y naught, 0 0 1 minus z naught, 0 0 0 1. So this is the translation matrix. So what is this translation matrix means? So this is the translation matrix which can be used for translating the viewing coordinate origin to world coordinate origin, to the world origin. So this is the translation which you can use. So the first step is translation. The first step is translation. So once the translation is done, you are moving that object to the viewing coordinate reference frame. So now you are able to view the object. Now you can make the changes. Like you can capture the different phases. You can capture the different phases of the object. So how it is done? Means the second step will be rotation. So the second step will be rotation. I'll just erase this. The second step will be rotation. So how do we rotate? Means we will use the rotation transformation matrix. So here when we are talking about the rotation, this rotation will be represented. You see here we are not representing the rotation with respect to cos theta and sin theta. So we are not talking about the rotation with respect to theta. We are talking about the rotation with respect to the three vectors which we have referred, which unit vectors which we have referred, UVN. So we will be talking about this rotation in terms of the unit vectors, UVN. So first step is translation, the next step is rotation. So when we are performing the rotation, we will be using the unit vectors U, V, and N, um, which will form the composite transformation. So this unit vectors can be used to form the composite rotation matrix, composite rotation matrix, which will superimpose the references, the weaving coordinate references, which will superimpose the weaving coordinate references, or the weaving coordinate axis, with the word reference frame, So we are not talking about the cos and sine theta. We are talking with respect to the UVN vectors, which will form a composite transformation of the rotation matrix, which will impose the view axis onto the world reference frame, like we had studied, right? So X view axis, Y view axis, and Z view axis should be aligned with XW, YW, ZW. So that is the thing. So how do we write the matrix for this? So how do we write the matrix for this? Will be like the transformation matrix. Initially, the transformation matrix will be like the identity matrix 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 0. So this will be the initial matrix. So if you are applying the rotation means, so UVN vectors, no, the first row will correspond to the UX, UY, UZ, and the last one will be 0. Then the second row corresponds to V. How means, see, this is like x-axis, y-axis, sorry, this is z-axis, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. If you remember the diagram, vector u, vector v, vector n. So x-axis, the first axis, x-axis, vx, vy, ux, uy, uz. Second is the y-axis, vx, vy, vz, 0. The third axis will be z-axis, so nx, ny, nz. So the last one will be as it is. So this is the rotation matrix. So this is the rotation matrix. So what we have obtained, so we know how to transform from the world coordinate reference frame to the waving coordinate reference frame. So we have obtained two matrices. One is the translation matrix, and the second one is the rotation matrix. So what is the next step? So the next step will be, I'll just erase this. Okay. So now we have obtained the now we have obtained this transformation matrix. We have obtained the transformation matrix, which is given by 1 0 0. So this will be x naught, y naught, z naught, 1. So 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. So this is a transformation matrix. The rotation matrix is given by unit vectors along x, y, z, vx, vy, vz, nx, ny, nz. So after this, the rest of the terms will be 0. This will be 1. So we have the translation matrix, the first step. We have the rotation matrix, second step. So that now the final transformation matrix will be obtained as a product of translation matrix into rotation matrix. So once we perform the product of these two matrices, we will obtain the final coordinate transformation matrix. So when we multiply these two matrices, we'll obtain the resultant matrices as, if you perform the rotation, you will get it as ux, uy, uz, vx, vy, vz, nx, ny, nz, 0, 0, followed by followed by 1. So here it will be x naught is there, no? So here you'll get minus x naught, minus y naught, minus z naught. We'll get minus x naught, minus y naught, minus z naught. But this x naught, y naught, and z naught can be represented in terms of unit vectors by, like, minus x naught will be represented as u into p naught. Y naught will be represented as v into p naught, and the last term z naught will be represented as n into p naught. So this will be our final matrix, which can be used for performing the coordinate transformations. This is a coordinate transformation matrices which is obtained. So here, the only change is, like, here I'm replacing this x naught, y naught, and z naught with u into p naught, v into p naught, n into p naught. So you know that x naught, y naught, and z naught, they are the translation factors. They are the translation factors. So in previously we would have referred it as tx, ty, tz. So these are the translation factors. So this translation values x naught, y naught, and z naught, they are calculated as the vector dot product. They are calculated as the vector dot product of u with the point p naught. So they are calculated as the vector dot product of for x naught. I'm talking about for x naught, it is calculated as the vector dot product of u into p naught. For y, it is calculated as v into p naught. For z, it is calculated as n into p naught, meaning vector dot product for each of the axis, for each of the unit vectors. So we are representing three axes along three vectors, no? X-axis with x-axis with x-axis with, so that is not there. Okay, we are represent. So this can be used. So this will be u, v, n. So x, y, z. So we are using this three vectors. So we are using this three vectors u, v, n along the three axes x, y, and z. So we are using this vectors for calculating this value as a dot product. So as a vector dot product of each of the unit vectors with the point p naught. So what this vectors, what this product will represent, u into p naught, n into p naught, what this they are giving, what, see in this p naught, we know that p naught is the and some point. If p naught is represented by some point given by x naught, y naught, z naught. So this product will give us a vector from the world coordinate origin to the Waving coordinate origin. And also we are using negative. We are using the negative values because we are performing the inverse translation. We are performing the inverse translation. So this when I expand this u into p naught, so it can be like minus x naught ux minus y naught uy minus z naught uz. So this, because the point is represented by x naught, y naught, z naught, and initially u, we know that ux, uy, uz. So similarly even we can write v into p naught, z into p naught also. So v into p naught means it will be minus x naught into vx minus y naught into vy minus z naught into vz. Similarly, z no minus x naught. So here nx, ny, nz. So like this. So we can use this. We can use this matrices for transforming the world coordinate references to the Waving coordinate references. So this is how it is derived out. These are the steps that are involved in the transformation from the world coordinate system to the Waving coordinate system. So any doubts here? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, so this is regarding the transformations. So, so what is the next process that is involved? So, translation is the transformation is done. Next, we are going to talk about transformations. So, transformations also. So before talking about the transformations, we'll talk about the projections. So previously also, the introduction classes, we have learnt about two kinds of projection. One is the parallel projection and the other one is perspective projection. So in the perspective projection, see, in the parallel projection, the parallel lines will be drawn. The object will remain same. It will look same. So when you're viewing the object, it will remain same. The size doesn't change. But when you're talking about the perspective projection, so the farer objects will look smaller when compared to the objects that are nearer. So one example which I gave is an example of an aircraft. So when the aircraft is when you're seeing the aircraft from the when it is on the ground, so the aircraft will look very very big. But when the same aircraft is flying in the air or it is flying, so the aircraft will look very very small. So these kind of examples were given. So projection transformation means, first we'll talk about the projections. So the projection means, we have two projections mainly, the parallel projection and the perspective projection. So so why we are using, see, once the transformation is in the previous thing, we were performing the transformation from the word to the weaving coordinate system. So now after the transformation is done to the weaving coordinate system, the object descriptions will be projected onto the view plane. So you can check here. So once the transformation is done, so this object P1 and P2, so this is an object which is represented by P1, P2. So this will be projected onto this view plane. So here also we have one object. So this object is given by P1, P2, a line. Here, to simplify this, we have one line. So this line is projected onto the view plane. Here also we have one line P1, P represented by P1, P2, which has been projected onto the view plane. So we have two kinds of projections which are supported by the graphic packages. One is the parallel projection and the second one is the perspective projection. So this is an example of parallel projection. Because the size doesn't change, you can see the size of this line is not changing here. But to check in the perspective projection, see the size of the line here, uh, when compared to the size of the line on the viewing plane. You can, from this itself, you can verify which is parallel projection and which is the perspective projection. So what is this parallel projection means? See, in the parallel projection, the coordinate positions will be transferred to the view plane along the parallel lines. See, you can check. So we have some parallel lines. No, we have some parallel lines which are shown in dotted pattern. So in parallel projection, this coordinate positions P1 and P2, the coordinate positions P1 and P2, they are transferred to this view plane represented by P1 dash, P2 dash, represented by P1 dash and P2 dash, along the parallel lines. The dashed line can be the parallel lines. So here in this example, we have a line which is given by the two endpoints P1 and P2. So we are drawing a imaginary parallel lines onto the view plane to get two more points on the view plane, which is represented by P1 dash and P2 dash. So what we can observe from here means the parallel projection is maintaining the size of the object or the proportion of the object. And where we can use this method means this method can be used in the computer aided design to produce the drawings of 3 dimensions. So this can be used to produce the this can be used in computer aided design to produce the scale drawing of 3D objects. So here all the parallel lines, see all the parallel lines in the scene will be displayed as parallel when you are viewing with the parallel projection, when you're viewing with parallel projection. So the second point is, the first thing is the size, the proportion of the object will be maintained or it will be preserved. So all the parallel lines in the scene will be displayed as parallel when you are viewing with the parallel projection. So so here, how can we obtain this parallel view? How can we obtain this parallel view? Means we have two methods. We have two methods for obtaining this parallel projection view for an object. So one thing is you can project the lines. We can project the lines that are perpendicular to the view plane. So you can project along the lines that are perpendicular to the view plane. You can check that. So this is perpendicular. This line is perpendicular to the view plane. Or the second method is you can project the line at some angle. So we will call it as oblique angle. So oblique angle means the slant line. The slant line you can the slant angle you can call it as the oblique angle. So we have two methods. We have two methods for obtaining the parallel projection. One is you can project the lines that are perpendicular. You can project the lines. You can project the lines that are perpendicular to the view plane, or you can project the lines which are at oblique angle to the view plane. So oblique means some slight angle. So that we will call it as oblique angle. So it is an in-between state. So it is not a parallel line. Also, it is not at the right angle. Also, you can call it as a slant line. The slant line you can call it as the oblique line. So these are the ways in which you can get the parallel projection. So we have two methods. One is where we are projecting the lines that are perpendicular to the view plane, and the second one we are projecting the lines at some angle. It can be like at some slanting angle or oblique angle to the view plane. So these are the ways in which you can obtain the parallel projection. So the next one is the perspective projection. So what is perspective projection means? Here you can see that. See here we are having two parallel lines in the right hand side of the image. On the right hand side of the image. Um, One second, I'll just enable this. On the right hand side of the image, we are having two dotted lines which are parallel to each other, but this is parallel projection. No, this is parallel projection. This is perspective projection. So here two lines are parallel to each other and they are not going to meet. But in the perspective projection, so here what we are doing means we have an object. Which is represented by the point P1 and P2. So this object position is transformed to the projection coordinate by using a dotted lines that converge to a point behind the view plane. So we have this view plane. So this you take it as this you take it as this line you take it as a view plane. So we have some points. So what they are doing means they are they're plotting the lines. They're plotting some lines where the line where this they're plotting these lines where these two lines will meet at some point, will meet at some point beyond this view plane. So this is the view plane. So these two lines will meet at some point behind or beyond the view plane. So that is how the object will be formed here. So for the perspective projection, the object positions will be transformed to the projection coordinate along the lines that converge. So these are the two lines that are converging beyond the point. So this is an example. So here we have two endpoints which are represented by P1 and P2. So what it is happening, so these two lines, we are generating a hidden lines which are meeting at some point after the view plane, which we are calling it as convergence point. Convergence point. So now see, you can see the line segment that is formed represented by the points P1 dash and P2 dash on the view plane. So here what you can observe is, here the size of the object is not same. So the size of the object is not preserved. So here you can check that the size of this and this is almost same, but here the size of the object is not preserved. The size of the object is not preserved. The size of the object is not same. So this is the first thing. So the next one is the perspective projection. Here the size you can check. You can check the size of P1, P2. So you can check the size of P1 and P2. So this is the size of P1 and P2. But what is the size of P1 dash and P2 dash? So this is the size of P1 dash, P2 dash, like this. So the size is not same. And also here the object is not getting preserved. The size of the object is not being preserved. And also this perspective projection, the perspective projection is there, no? So the perspective view is more realistic. It is more realistic. It is more realistic uh, uh, thing. And also the distance object will be projected in a size which will be reduced. That means the objects which are far away will be smaller in size. So that's why this perspective projection is more realistic. So these are the two kinds of transformations which we have. One is uh, parallel projection, and the second one is perspective projection. So parallel projection means the size doesn't change, or the size will be maintained. In perspective projection means um, the size will be altered, and also this will be more realistic in the sense the faraway objects will appear smaller. So this is regarding the perspective transformations. Any doubts here? Any doubts with respect to these two concepts? One is the transformation from world coordinate reference system to the viewing coordinate reference system, and the second one is the projection transformation. The projection transformations, where we have studied about two kinds of projection transformation. One is the parallel projection, and the second one is perspective projection, and the difference between these two also. And the next we will be talking about the orthogonal projection. Any doubts here? Any doubts? So I'll just stop the class now. If you people have any doubts, you just let me know. If not, we'll just wind up the classes. Any doubts? Any doubts with respect to these two concepts? Any doubts? Yes or no? Okay. So if people have, if you don't have any doubts, then we'll just wind up the classes. I'll just stop the class now.